He has interviewed 5 of the sharks from Shark Tank. He's been to the White House. He has been before Congress. I mean, it's unbelievable what he has accomplished. So let us bring him on without further ado. The founder of Smart Hustle, Ramon Ray. Hi.
Hey, Dr. Jacalyn, how are things in your world? Thanks for having me here. It's good to be here and see your lovely smile.
Well, thank you. Yours as well. And I love your energy and your voice. And again, the things that you have accomplished, it's hard to believe that one person did this in a lifetime. So I just want to start off with, how do you keep yourself going?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder that myself. And I think 2 things, and only one is worded, I realized, of recent date, and you'll know this name as well in the circles we hang out with. But I think 1, definitely I'm a person of deep faith in God, that's for sure. I have to acknowledge him for that. I think 2, I know where I want to go, Dr. Jacalyn. You know I have my family, my wife, my kids, others in my world. And the one phrase I'll use is, who loses if I don't win? Danelle Delgado said that. I credit her with that. And that reinforces kind of how I think. So when I wake up in the morning, I think, you know what? I only have a short amount of time on this earth, short amount of time. So how can I work with people like Dr. Jacalyn and make the world a better place? And I hope that doesn't sound too corny, but a year or 2 ago, I may have said the tactical things, but now it's really just, how can I live this life to the fullest?
I think that's beautiful. And I want our audience to know that this app, if you're not familiar with it, it's Clubhouse, and we're not paid spokespersons, but I went into Breakfast with Champions over and over and over. Every day I was going in, and they feature speakers as yourself, and you give information to help people, and you give it willingly from the goodness of your heart, and you're really sort of volunteering, I want to say. But if you would just share with our audience a little bit about your experience as a host on Breakfast with Champions and what it means to you.
Sure. I think that it's interesting, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm sure you'll know this very well, because I have a feeling you exude this and exemplify it. I think you go based on how the leader or the person who puts that together is. It kind of goes from the top down in some ways. So the point being, a show. What is a show? What is a host? What is what we're doing? What you're doing, Dr. Jacalyn? I'm on your show. You're pouring into others. A little bit of entertainment, but you're hopefully adding some value to somebody else. That's why we watch TV. That's why we watch radio. That's why we watch podcasts. So this consortium of 80 or more people getting together and having these hours of programming every single day, me saying, wow, I'm a host, but there's somebody who's hearing Ramon and whose life I can impact. And I think that really excites me and inspires me. Sometimes do you think you're talking to yourself, or you're thinking not making a difference? And then somebody says, hey, Ramon, I heard what you said today. That spoke to me. It helped me. And I'm sure, Dr. Jacalyn, you have people like that who say thank you to the work you do as well. So that's really what it means to me, and what inspires me, I think, to keep moving and keep going on.
And you are certainly doing that, because I remember I was writing down everything that you were saying, and then you gave the opportunity to contact you on Instagram. I think you would send the information. So thank you. So with all the content that you have out there and all the success that you have, to your credit, it hasn't always been this way, has it?
Not at all.
And that's why I think we do what we do, so that we can help lift up, even if it's just one person, whether they're watching on the live or they're listening on the replay. So would you share a little bit about when you've had adversity in your life? And every day we might have adversity. There might be something. But what really stands out to you?
Sure. I think there's 2 types of adversity, Dr. Jacalyn. I think when we think of the story of Robin Williams, and I say this in all respect, in a good way, I think it's Robin Williams, a comedian, a man who outwardly comedic. You can't get better than a comedian. Laughter, 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 jokester, but he took his life. So the 2 challenges I think many people face are, one, with themselves. You could have all the fame, fortune, money, be here, talk, and do all kind of things you want, but yet inside your soul's not at peace. And then 2 is the physical. The poor people in Kabul, Afghanistan, the women's soccer team you may have read, they were walking through the sewer just to escape the country. So what I'm trying to lead to is my own life. I think there's been times where I can remember, as you may know the story, fired from the United Nations. That was probably one of the most traumatic things that happened to me, where I was fired from the United Nations, and I had to step into full-time entrepreneurship like that. Thankfully, I had been doing some things on side hustles, but I had to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I couldn't just say, oh, sure, I'll come for free. So that's one. 2, I can remember, when I was very young, having my first child. It wasn't planned. I didn't expect it. And that can be, if you're not ready for it, like, oh, I'm going to be a dad. So thankfully, years later, everything's beautiful and fine. I have 2 lovely kids. It's just at the time. And then lastly, I'll leave you with Dr. Jacalyn, and feel free to let me know. Say, hey, Ramon, you're going too long. Come back. Be focused. Feel free to rope me in. No problem. But the other thing is that I can remember just there was a period of time where I expressed some severe depression and wanting to end my life. I'll just call it that to be sensitive to the audience, But I went through some rough times, and that's the period where outwardly things can look okay, but inside we're not at peace. So I hope those 3 things help somebody, and that's kind of the physical component, but I've also touched on the emotional component of where I've felt like the underdog. So.
And thank you for your transparency and authenticity. I really appreciate that. And it's so helpful when someone looks at you and everything that you've accomplished, and that we know that you're so humble and so down to earth that it's easy to relate to you and easy to resonate with what you're saying. And I think also as business owners, we all make mistakes. We all have failures. And I just want to admit one right now that I have been calling you Raymond instead of Ramon, so I'm so sorry about that.
Not even thank you, but I'll just riff on that from you, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm called that 70% of the time. So you're forgiven and you're okay. And that's why I didn't even, like some people, let's say, you call, I'm sure you're a host, right? So people, you say their name wrong. No, it's not Bob, it's Bobet. And you say it again, they correct you. No, Bobet. I'm like, calm down, dude. Listen, I'm not your mama. I didn't name you. So it's okay, no problem. But I let it go because, it can go Raymond or Ramon, both of their names. So all is well.
Oh, good. Thank you. And you're so right, because we have people from all over the world. And I asked them 3 times, how do you say your name? And I still get it wrong. So, okay. So moving forward. So I would love for you to share with our audience what it takes when you do fail to mentally pick yourself back up again, because it's so easy. You mentioned Robin Williams. Some people they don't get back up again. And we really want to encourage people. The news, especially lately, there are all these same stories being repeated over and over again. It's very easy to get depressed. It's very easy to say, I'm just going to put my head in the sand and stay where I am. So what advice can you give to people?
And Dr. Jacalyn, you mentioned the news. You don't listen to the good news channel. It says, like, you turn to it, it says, bus arrived okay. Everybody got off. It was on time. Now for the next news story. Dog walked down the block. It didn't bite anybody, and it wagged its tail. For the next story, 4 million planes landed okay today. Now for the next. It'd be kind of a boring channel, but that'd be cool, right? Like a channel that just had, say, someone like yourself on there just saying, the mail came today. 2 checks and 1 bill.
Guess what? That's a great idea. That is really a great idea. We need more of that.
But I wonder if anybody would listen. I mean, imagine, Ramon and Dr. Jacalyn pressed the button on the Keurig machine. Guess what happened, everybody? Coffee came out.
Well, there's something that I just want to say before turning it back to you. I think affirmations, gratitude, prayer, all those things. I know, believe it or not, last night I'm lying in bed and I said to myself, thank you, God, for this beautiful soft bed. Thank you, God, that I'm in a house where there's a major storm outside. And I'm saying, there's so many things to be thankful for. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, and please, can you remind me, Dr. Jacalyn, you asked me an amazing question. I got so sidetracked. It just went out.
So I just love your energy. And so for people out there are people out there watching or listening now, whether it's live or later, who don't have the energy. They don't have the passion. They don't have the drive, but they want to, and they need somebody to help lift them up. And that is you.
Thank you. I would say a few things are important. And again, happy to talk about any of these in depth if you want, if I go too short, But I think that one is surround yourself with people, Dr. Jacalyn, who can uplift you, because there's probably a number of people listening to us who either, they're people closest to them, their wives, their husbands, their spouses, always push them down. So that's one. I think 2, and I get this, if I may, I'm just going to shout out John Acuff. Some people may know him, his book, Soundtracks. I don't get an affiliate. I'm just uplifting other people. I read his book, Soundtracks, and it helped me. Things I know, but the thing is that his point is we have soundtracks, music, playing in our head, often from our past. Okay, when I was younger, and if I talk too long, Dr. Jacalyn, I'll start crying. But when I was younger, I can think of things happening to me. I remember me getting my first set of glasses, horrific experience, people teasing me, silly thing, because kids are cruel. I didn't have a microwave. It was a cruel teasing growing up. All we had was a toaster oven. We didn't have a microwave. So two, letting go of the things that play in our head. And I know letting go is not easy. Abuse is a real thing, but somehow you have to say, okay, Ramon, we have to move on. So that's two. Surround yourself with people, letting go of the things that happen to you. Then three, look forward. What's the possibility that the world could be better if you kind of uplift yourself? And one short story I'll share. For example, I didn't know how to swim. I still don't, in fact, but I didn't know how to swim for some time. I took lessons, 19 swimming lessons, just so I could better myself, if that makes sense. So the things I'm telling people, Dr. Jacalyn, I've had to do myself, and I still struggle with things, but I've advanced a bit because I've been able to let go, surround myself with good people, and then look forward. What would happen if that makes sense?
Yes, it definitely does. Great tips. Thank you. And when we think about the underdog, sometimes to me, I think about the business owner, especially during the pandemic, has been an underdog. And I'm wondering if you could just share your perspective. I feel like if business owners can be heart-centric, and if they can be focused not on capitalism, not on the dollar, but on how to better the world so that we could have peace. Yeah. How do you see that? Because you guide businesses, you are a leading expert. Where does the heart come in, and where does inner peace come in, or outer peace, world peace, when it comes to the business owner?
Yeah, tell me if you agree with this, Dr. Jacalyn. One thing I'll add to what you said, because I agree 99.9%. Let me know if I may edit this, but if you just
please, okay. No, go ahead.
Don't focus only on the dollar. Can we agree on that?
Okay. Yes, I do like that.
Yes, I knew what you meant. Yeah, because then, so that would be my answer, is that you're right. If you're focused only on the dollar, you lose the flexibility and freedom to say, oh, so-and-so's mother's sick. This guy needs a second chance. Okay, he stole from us. I heard the whole story. I know we have the rule. You're fired if you steal. You know what? I've extended you grace. And even as I say it, I get chills and feel like tearing up. I don't know why. I cry very easily. But I think that's what it is. So I think you're exactly right. When we're focused only on the dollar, and I'll give another tangential example. This is helpful. I was listening to a podcast once, and they were talking about the open book management. I forgot the person. I think it's Jack Stacks. There's a famous kind of company that has an open book management structure, where everybody knows how much people are making and your books and revenue. And one person was just saying he doesn't like it so much because as the executive, Dr. Jacalyn, you want the flexibility to say, you know what? I know the rules this way. Or I know the budget's this way. We're going to do it this way. So exactly to your point, if you're not focused only on the dollar, or you're focused beyond the dollar, because we do want to build wealth, we're in business, but I think the world will be better. Indeed, there's too many people that are just laser focused. They keep their head down. I got to make $1. I got to make $1. I got to make $1. What about making a smile? What about making somebody laugh? What about just telling the customer, it's okay. We know you stole it, but it's okay. You can, like that. I think you'll build a bigger business. And if you think of the famous stories, I wish there were more smaller ones that we can talk about, but Amazon, Zappos, Ritz-Carlton, aren't the hallmarks of kind of these? Oh, Dr. Jacalyn, you ordered the sweaters, you ordered it by accident, ordered the wrong color, didn't feel like it. No problem. Send it back. It's not exactly what we're saying, but that attitude, if that's helpful.
It's definitely helpful. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about when I started my business just last year, and then segueing to you interviewing the sharks on Shark Tank. I know especially Mr. Wonderful will say, you have a hobby, you don't actually have a business. And so I think part of the reason why I left what I said about capitalism is because I wasn't focused on making money, and I didn't. Okay, I didn't make any money. I really had just a hobby. So to your point, it is important because we do have bills to pay. We do have a certain lifestyle that we want to live. So thank you for bringing that up. When you think about, again, being an underdog, we could say that we're actually an underdog every day in some way. Something comes up. And again, it's our mindset. So with what you're doing with smarthustle.com and with what you're doing with helping small businesses, what do you see as the next level once you move away from being an underdog to actually being a thriving business?
Oh wow, what a great question. I love this. Well, we should just have a whole show. Well, your whole show is about that, but I love how you phrased it. I love this. And I think, yes, just let me underline or repeat what I'm hearing you say. I think that there is a time in your business for many where you are in the survival mode. We just need to get one customer. We're just trying to get out to the proverbial, and it's not proverbial for some, but for many, 100,000 of revenue. We're just trying to get our first 2 websites developed. There's that survival mode. Got it? Get it. I'm glad you're here listening to Dr. Jacalyn so we can move you just from being the underdog. So there's that mode. I think the next one then with that is kind of the business stability. Great. We're no longer scrappy and just trying to survive. Now we're just trying to keep treading water, if that makes sense. We're not trying to stop drowning. We're trying to keep treading water. Great. Things are going okay. You know, the $1,000 came in and only $500 came out. Good. Then the third level, even beyond that, I guess, is that where you start to live profitably and abundantly, and you can start to give to others. You can start to use your business as a vehicle, as you hinted, Dr. Jacalyn, to bless the world, right? To say, you know what? We've decided we're going to buy 10,000 buckets of chicken for all the homeless in whatever city you're in. And I think that's the level that I'm tasting a bit, Dr. Jacalyn, because I have a wide journey to go, but a bit of that. I haven't arrived. I want to be fully clear. I'm not some, I got 10 Lamborghinis guy. No. That's not me. But I can taste that by God's grace. Survival mode definitely has been over for some time. The stability of smart hustle and the started 4 companies, sold 2 companies, that journey, we've been there for a while. We're doing good. And I can't wait to get more to the journey. Well, great. The systems and processes, right? Gino Wickman's book, Traction. I can look at my little bookshelf of favorite books here. Profit First, all these things. Then you're able to give back and have a servant business, because the business as well. Now you're able to help others. And the last thing I'll say, kind of like the face mask thing they say in the airplanes, right? Once you're good, now I can help her. But if I'm sick, that just leaves 2 dead people. We don't want that.
I love this. I love it. You touched on something that really also resonates with me. I want to be the next Oprah so that I can be on the stage going, you have a car and you have a car and you have a car, and just giving. So I love that we're aligned with that.
And let me ask you, Dr. Jacalyn, when that moment happens, are you going to have the meme and the whole GIFs and the Instagram, and you're going to have the hair going a little crazy? All that's going to happen in that moment, right? You have to have all that. I want to see the, all the kids on TikTok. And I want to see that.
We're putting it out there. We're putting it into the universe. There it is. We are going to take a short break. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch a music video, and it's called Follow Love. It's from Madeline Chan, who is an award-winning singer and songwriter, producer. She's also my vocal coach. She's over in the UK. And then we're going to watch a clip called the Earthshot Prize. And I want to thank Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Shard for sharing this with us. It's about sustainability, which is also an important topic. Okay, so stay with us, and we will be right back after these messages.
By your love, what you giving me is just not enough. I need a love to take me higher and higher and higher. Every step I take, I feel more awake. Getting closer now, I feel so alive. Stopping me, this is how I live. Ever closer now, just follow love.
Ours is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that.
Hi, we're back. Welcome to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads and also Business Talk Radio. You are watching or listening to The Underdog Show. And this guy here, he's our underdog for today. He is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com. He is a leading expert on small business success. And he also is the host of Breakfast with Champions over on Clubhouse. He's an author, a motivational speaker, and we could go on and on. So thank you so much for your time and being here. I really appreciate it.
Dr. Jacalyn, you're welcome. And thanks for being so fun and such a good interviewer. So thank you.
Thank you. So here's a question that I have for you. And this pops into my head again with Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. And because of the fact that you do guide and coach and mentor small business owners, when is it that you should throw in the towel?
That's a great question. Here's what I say, and 2% of it's what I've heard from others. But one thing that I say quite a bit is I think you should throw in the towel when you've extinguished, when you've used up all the levers you can think of. I think in my own company, I told my son that a few months ago or years ago, whatever it was, is that, hey, listen, let's use another example. Let's say an accountant. We'll use that, doctor. Let's say an accountant. When there's nobody who's doing their taxes, when there's no more business owners, when the IRS closes, when you get my point, all those things are done, we don't need accountants anymore. But if that's the case that we need accountants, that means you, dear accountant, are probably just doing something wrong. You're not targeting the right customer. You're not doing the right copy. Your breath smells bad. Something's going wrong because people clearly need your services. Oh, and also, Dr. Jacalyn, you have competition. Other people are thriving. So they're no smarter, as it were, than you. So I think that's when you should throw in the towel, when the market conditions say it. And I'll say one other thing. I was with the CEO of Lovesac, kind of a company that has these cool couches and things. And people may know they used to have beanbags. And he said, one reason many companies fail only is because they run out of runway. Meaning, it's not that I'm smarter than Dr. Jacalyn. No, it's that my parents gave me more money to figure it out. And hers, they stopped at month one, if that kind of makes sense. So I think that aspect of runway is important. And then I think 3, are you enjoying it anymore, Dr. Jacalyn? That's another thing, especially for those who are really starting out, those who may be in the underdog stage and maybe working on their side hustles. If your mama told you to be a photographer and you hate photography, you know what? If you need to buy diapers, do that. But beyond that, I would maybe dare say you shouldn't be a photographer if it doesn't bring you a smile, because I love what I do. And clearly Dr. Jacalyn loves what she does.
So true. Thank you. And I love what you're talking about, the passion to do what you do. So when I was in my corporate world and I was there for a long time and I loved it and I got paid very well, but there was something missing. And I kept holding on to the paycheck, holding on to all the perks, holding on to the benefits. So if someone is looking, there are people out there right now who are not happy, right? They're not happy doing what they're doing. They want to start their own business, but they think, how can I let all that go? I don't know. Maybe I should just stay here, keep my head down and be miserable. And the bank account's getting bigger, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, listen, when the money is not there, Dr. Jacalyn, it's hard to continue. So I echo that and affirm that 100%. You making the living and the money is a big part of it. It has to be. And you'll find that, sometimes people are sad because there are mental issues, or not mental, but things are going through inside relationships. But listen, if you're not making a buck to pay your rent, you're not making a buck to buy water or pay your electric bill, it's not a good life. I mean, meaning it's a yucky time. You can still be happy, but let's face it, people want to have clothes and, get their hair done. Let's say I got my hair done just for the show. So
it looks fabulous, by the way.
It keeps going in my eyes. So let me just adjust it a bit.
What do you think about side hustles?
I love the aspect of a side hustle. Here's a few things. Full-time entrepreneurship is definitely not for everyone. That's for sure. So a side hustle can be a great way to do one of two things: experience the creativity in your that you really are creative about and you really love to do, and or two, bring in a bit of extra income. But of course, you have to judge your time versus money, which is another story. But I like side hustles, Dr. Jacalyn. And I would say with a side hustle, make sure your boss or your company allows it so you don't get fired like I did. I think two, make sure that you can fulfill and serve your customers or clients, whatever you're doing, in your side hustle. And I think three, have fun doing it. So I like it. Just be careful that knowing if you have a family, you got your day job, you got your side hustle, you got your church, synagogue, whatever you may be doing, it can be a lot. So just make sure that you balance those out as best you can.
Excellent. Thank you. And I want to get into how you actually work with your clients. But last question before that. So we're kind of looking at a continuum. You're starting off as the underdog. You're barely holding on. You're surviving. Then you're getting some income. What about a colleague of yours over on Clubhouse with the 10X philosophy? So how does one get to 10X, and when should one be working on the 10X?
Sure. And to clarify, let's clarify I know the colleague, we can say the name unless we'll leave it out for now, but you let me know how you want to go. But the colleague of 10X, I get what you mean. Here's a few things I'll say. I guess I don't think everyone now has to be a billionaire or hundreds of millionaire, whatever the number may be. So just to clarify that part, I think it's a good goal. If it's for you, it could be for some, right? But it takes a different strength, a different mindset, a different, fastidiousness. And I know I'm not saying it's not for me, because I know when I say that to some people, Ramon, don't say that. You can be anything. No, being a billionaire, the route I'm going, it's not my path, but it's doable. But I think the aspect of what it means to 10X, in fact, I'm working on my fifth book, a new book coming out called Grow Your Solo. I don't think you even know that. It hasn't even been released. It's called Grow Your Solo. And that talks about the principle of how to 10X yourself. You're making whatever you want a year. You're a solo business owner. How do you at least take that and extend it just a bit? So I think some things you can do: hire an executive assistant, manage your calendar, manage your email. Those are three things you can do that will take you another level, giving you so-called white space to get more done. The aspect of working smarter, not harder. And one more thing I'll say, Dr. Jacalyn, is I learned this from Keep, the CRM company: attraction, selling, and wowing. That's the way to do that. Meaning with customers, because oftentimes we get the customer, we don't wow them to buy again. You're losing money. Oftentimes we're marketing to the wrong pool of people. We're losing money. Oftentimes we're just going right for the sale. We're not nurturing. We're losing money. So those are some hacks. I hope that kind of makes sense, with ways to 10X ourselves. Either you want to be the billionaire or just make a bit more money.
Brilliant. That is so much in alignment with me. I'm always looking to 10X myself. And I've had people over the years insult me because they would say, you could be making so much more money. And I'd be like, I don't really care. I really would rather help other people. And, well, if you made more money, you could help more people. I know. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So.
And people don't understand the match. It doesn't always, but I think since you've worked in corporate, well compensated, so you know these circles, to make 500 million a year, whatever the number, but play with me, make 500 million a year, it does require often, at least the people I know, a bit different commitment of family and time and all this. So it's doable. But trust me, $500 million people are not sitting on the couch, going to Antigua. There's a point in life they get there. But I know for me, I just don't want that. I don't have that 10 to 20 year path and journey to do that, to still be able to rest, if that makes sense. I want to enjoy it right now, my life right now.
Yes, I'm with you. I love that. Okay, I want to turn the rest of the interview to how you actually work with your clients. We've got a tagline streaming here: ask for a smile before the sale. So can you talk a little bit more about that and what that means to you?
Yeah, two things. So listen, my work accomplishes two platforms or pillars. One are the very, very, very large technology companies that I work with and help them reach small businesses. So that's one market segment that I do. I've done it for the past 20 plus years as a speaker, event host, and more. Second aspect, similar to probably yourself, Dr. Jacalyn, we have a huge community of thousands of small business owners that follow Ramon. And one of the concepts I teach them, and this is in Celebrity CEO, my book, or the aspect of personal branding. You can just Google this. Don't need to get the book and all that. I'm not selling anything, but you can just look at these aspects of what does it mean to have a strong personal brand. And this ask for a smile, it simply means this. Instead of going directly for the sale, Dr. Jacalyn, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Can I get $1 from you? Let me just serve her. Let me educate her. Let's pretend she likes black water bottles. I don't know. Let me let her understand why black water bottles are so good, how she can sip water from it. 3 ways that she can live a healthier life. I'm having fun here, but you get me. Let me nurture. And as my friend John Jant says, you probably know him of duct tape marketing. Know, like, and trust. So the point I'm making, if small businesses can build a personal brand, be a celebrity CEO in their community by building a community of fans. And last point I repeat, asking for a smile before they ask for a sale, they will build their fan base, build their funnel, then they can make money. And I'll just say, lastly, those who are listening to this, Instagram, you can just DM me the word personal branding or celebrity CEO on Instagram. Tons of content I'll send you on Instagram.
Thank you. I have about 50 questions that I could ask from that. So this has always been a big debate that I hear from people when you're trying to build your business, build your brand. Should you give things away for free, or should you have some monetary component aligned with it? Because is free worthless? Is there value in free? What are your thoughts on that?
I say do both. And here's what I mean by doing both. Clearly, you have to have some product that you're selling. So I want Dr. Jacalyn to buy this pen. This is what I'm selling for sure. But my methodology, instead of me trying to convince and sell this pen, and by the way, everybody should take sales training. I love sales. I'm in sales. Dr. Jacalyn probably is in sales, knowing her ethos. So we're in sales. But to get Dr. Jacalyn to buy this pen, what I'm saying is I'd rather be able to create, as I pull another example here, all this. Dr. Jacalyn, here's a gift. Dr. Jacalyn, here's another one. Dr. Jacalyn, here's another one. Dr. Jacalyn, here's another one. Ooh, Ramon, wow, thank you. And she's all, and then hopefully, Dr. Jacalyn, did you love all this? She's like, yeah. I'm like, great. You know what? You liked all this. This we really have as well. Take it to the next level. It is something you have to pay for. So that's a silly example, but people can understand giving and sharing and giving all this that she wants. Then I can slide in, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Hey, there's this, which will really take it to the next level. Most likely she's going to say, Ramon, I've trusted you with all this. Sure, I'll buy that. Was that confusing, Dr. Jacalyn, or did that make some sense?
That was a great example. I love that. I hope our audience is really taking away from that, because there it is. You give this, and then you have this connection, this trust, this relationship. What else does he have? What else? I need something else.
Exactly. And
Brilliant.
People want it, don't they? I mean, Dr. Jacalyn, imagine you're carpet cleaning in your home, whatever. The guy or the gal comes, they washed your dishes, washed your kids, cleaned the carpet, washed your car, gave you a hairdo. You're like, dude or gal, do you clean parrots? Do you walk dogs? Yes, you're begging for it. It's not a slimy thing, because some people, no, it's I've served, I've shown value. You don't want to go to anybody else.
So true, Ramon. Thank you. A question I have, and of course, I'm thinking this comes into play with your business as well. A lot of times now, since the pandemic, we're building relationships virtually, right? So I haven't met you in person, but I heard you on Clubhouse. I didn't even see you. I heard you, and I automatically was drawn to you. I wanted to know more from you. I got the information. You sent it to me on Instagram, and here you are today. So my question is, when we look at relationships as business owners and the fact that we're working in a different scenario, different environment now, how do we need to, I hate to use pivots, but switch or change so that we can have relationships that are based over technology?
I'm going to show one more book from my bookshelf here. This I
Please.
got from Glenn Lundy, the host of Breakfast with Champions,
Yes.
called The Like Switch. It's a little glary. It's not my book. So again, I say I'm not selling anything like Dr. Jacalyn because some people get, oh my God, he's showing things. Not you, but the audience. They just have some aversion. So The Like Switch, not my book, by an FBI agent. And here's my answer to your question. The longer we're with people, the more impactful the situation is, and the more quality we do it. Like this time, we've been together 40-something minutes together. We were together before for a few minutes. We're building relationships. So the way to do it online, Dr. Jacalyn, is just as we're doing it. You can't meet everybody. But as Amanda Holmes, some people may know Chet Holmes International, kind of a famous sales company. As she says, what's your dream 100? So Dr. Jacalyn, literally written down, I have what are the pools of people or areas that I want to invest in. And as you know, one of them is Breakfast with Champions. I say loud and proud on Clubhouse, 5 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday. And I'm building relationships. I can't meet everybody in the world, but I can meet amazing people like Dr. Jacalyn because she has the same heart that I have, and we just connected through a common interest. And that's how you build relationships.
Thank you so much. That was excellent. So, Ramon, I also want to look at, as we look forward, okay, people are leaving the workplace, going out on their own. We've got small businesses that are thriving, people who are reorganizing. Where do you see the future for small businesses in the United States? And let me just explain a little bit about what I mean. So we've had these companies, these huge companies like Amazon, maybe put a number of small businesses out of business. We've had shopping malls that have closed, major retailers have closed. So do you think that there's still a need for more people to come forward and start their own businesses?
Sure. I think politically and things like that, I think, Dr. Jacalyn, a bit of a tough environment in the future. That's my 2 cents on there. I'll step a little close to the line. So that's my 2 cents there. But beyond that, to answer the question directly, yes. And here's why I'm hopeful, Dr. Jacalyn. In fact, I just posted something as we're talking right now on Instagram, I think, talking about the creator economy. The creator economy. And here's my point. The big billion-dollar brands will always be there. And they're going to, most of them, the Amazons and Walmarts and others, are driving costs down. They want it cheap, and fast. Seth Godin talks about this quite a bit. And that's okay. But I think the opportunity for small business owners is to get as close to our customer as we can and love them, lick them, slobber on them, because we can do that better than anybody else. So I'm very bullish, I think. Since you were in corporate, bullish means you're for it, right? That's what bullish means?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm very bullish on the small business market. It's still going to be tough, like it was 100 years ago, 500 years ago. But I think that if we get close to our customers, leverage technology, and especially this is create things like StreamYard, Dr. Jacalyn. Can you imagine doing this 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago? We couldn't be like little studios and switch in and out. Who could? So these tools are here. Clubhouse, live podcast studio. Go figure. Take these tools and go make some money and go serve others is what I'd say.
And again, audience, I hope you're listening out there or watching and taking it all in, because we are virtual right now. We are on technology that didn't exist before. And if it weren't for Clubhouse, it weren't for StreamYard, we wouldn't even be here today. And who knows where this is going to go, or where people watching or listening, collaborations are going to come. We don't know. So I'd like to spend the last part of the interview, I think I said that already, but we're still going. I love it. Talking about the value that you bring and who the ultimate preferred, desired clients are that you really feel are your niche or your sweet spot that you know you can help.
Sure. I mean, large corporate brands. That's who we serve. But even beyond clients per se, my path in life is things like this and being able to be a spotlight to help small businesses grow. So I know it sounds weird, but it's really, if I'm helping a small business grow by these things like this, by being a light, being a evangelist for small business success, I'm a happy guy.
Wonderful. And I didn't get to touch on this, but I feel I have to. So you are an interviewer yourself. You've interviewed some pretty amazing people. And I would love if you would just share, what was your first interview and how has your journey evolved from that first one?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think probably the first interview I can remember of note was Nigel Burton, who was the head of small business at Microsoft. I was at the UN still 15, 20 something, long time ago. And that's where I launched smallbiztechnology.com, my second company I launched. And it was focused on small business and technology. So I interviewed Nigel Burton, head of Microsoft Small Business. So that kind of launched me into this niche of being an influencer in the small business space for tech brands. Definitely, as you know, in my bio and things, I was able to interview President Barack Obama. It's cool to be. I interviewed him. I beat out 300,000 other Americans who applied. They only picked 5 of us. And then I try to be politically balanced here because I was at an event once, Dr. Jacalyn, people heard Obama's name. I heard it. Half the audience cheered. Half the audience went boo. So I didn't know whether to run or stay there. I was like, oh no. And so then thankfully, guess what I did? I was at an event in India with Ivanka Trump. And I was able to just briefly, I called from her. She was leaving the stage. I got a selfie with her. So now I say, I've interviewed President Obama. I've hung out with Ivanka Trump, and everybody's happy. There we go.
And what did you learn from interviewing them? What did you learn about yourself from interviewing them?
I think don't be afraid to take a risk. It seems weird, but I think the interview was good. But less important for me was the interview than how I got it. And I think that even I was able to spend a few minutes with Colin Powell, who died a few weeks ago, depending on when you hear this. And you know how that happened? I stayed in the rain, maybe 2 hours, could have been an hour. I was standing in the rain next to his limo. I asked the Secret Service, can I talk to him? They said, just don't wave your hands. Don't make any sudden movements. And you can shout out to him respectfully. And if he wants to come back from the security line, he will. I said, Mr. Powell, I've waited in the rain for an hour. He came back and he talked to me. And years before, I had invited him to my high school graduation in like 1991. And he wrote me a personal letter. So to my point is, the interviews are great, but I'm pretty proud of the fact that I can do a little humble brag of how I've gotten these things just by doing some weird stuff, being creative, being myself. And not everybody says yes, but I've gotten a few cool interviews.
That's exceptional. And what about the Sharks? I'm a huge fan of Shark Tank. My mom and I watch it all the time. I love Robert Herjavec. I'm just putting it out there. I know he's married. I love Mr. Wonderful. I love Damon. So, what was that like?
Yes. They're all different. And I'm not a golfing buddy with any of them. But I think when I think of the times I've been with Damon John in rooms with him, he seems very purposeful and very focused, very cautious. He seems that's just to a degree. Robert Herjavec is kind of America's dad. He's just a friendly, uplifting guy. The other guy, Mr. Wonderful, he's like he is, and really he's a nice guy. Just a little I've seen and know of him, but he is to the point, quick to the point. Mark Cuban, kind of that open eyes, open heart, but I don't have time to mess around type person. Barbara Corcoran, she's a riot. I mean, she was like flirting with me a little bit in the room in a good way, nothing bad, but like, Ramon, my first boyfriend was Ramon. You're not him, are you? She had some fun with me. And then Lori Grenier, we were together in a webinar together, and she's really fun. She likes to be very prepared, So they're all decent, amazing people, I think, whose stardom has risen because of TV. So they were accomplished people, but let's face it, how many of us would have known Laura Grenier's name if it wasn't for Shark Tank or Mark Cuban or Damon John? Mark Cuban, some of us in tech space knew. So it shows also the power of TV.
Yes, it does. Who is on your short list of people you'd like to interview?
That's a good question. I'm looking at my list. I think I've interviewed probably everybody I wanted to. Who it was, Dr. Jacalyn, was Steve Harvey. That's kind of who it was. But I must say, all the fanboy and fangirl people that I wanted, I think I can get to them, or I've met them already. Seth Godin's my dude. So I'm pretty happy. I think I would love to. Oprah Winfrey, of course, anybody famous. But I must say, it's about the experience. That's really my next journey. I just want to keep building Smart Hustle. And frankly, I like meeting cool people like you. That's what I like doing. So I'm a pretty happy guy.
You're exceptionally happy. I can feel through the screen, like the positive vibes. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm so glad that you were here with us today. So as we really are closing out, what is next for you? You mentioned about Smart Hustle, but is there anything you can define, for our audience and leave us with inspiration so we can continue following your work?
Yeah, I'll do two things. I'll talk about me and tell you what's next specifically, and then I'll inspire. I mean, I think two things. I'm looking to build the third leg of Smart Hustle, and that's offering more and more services and things to our community. We have thousands of people who follow us, but I mainly focus on just the large tech brands. So I'm like, you know what? There's a number of people say, Ramon, can you help me with this, that, and the other? And I say no. So I'm going to be launching some things to help serve that community, hopefully in partnership with others like yourself, Dr. Jacalyn. That's one. I think two, I have a show coming up on a certain TV station with a 3-letter acronym. Well, 4 of them have that. So a show will be coming up, and I can't wait to see how that grows. And then I think for others, listen, keep at it. You're going to make mistakes. We all have been an underdog, and everybody has underdog moments. The only way to not stay as the underdog is for you to keep going. And I'll repeat what Danelle Delgado says always, which is so impactful to me. Who will lose if you don't win? And we want you to keep winning.
What a way to close out this show. I love how you tied everything together. And by the way, we don't have any contact information. We've been streaming the whole time, so we don't have any contact information for people. How do people get in touch with you?
Sure. Best way,
just go to your website.
Yep. RamonRay.com or smarthustle.com if I can serve anybody. Instagram is great too. Like I said, celebrity CEO, you can DM me that keyword. Personal branding, DM me that keyword. Let's see if anybody does this, Dr. Jacalyn. Let's see if somebody would DM me, Dr. Jacalyn Rocks. The first person to do that will get a special gift, but not you, Dr. Jacalyn. You can do it yourself.
Now, just for people who might have just joined, what is your Instagram handle that they need to go to?
Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. They can DM the word celebrity CEO.
Okay, you made it so easy for people. Thank you. I would love to have you back on our business show. If you'd be open, that would be fantastic. With my co-host Alcini, he would you guys would get along so well. So thank you again for being here. And by the way, congratulations on the network program that's coming out. That's huge.
I appreciate it. We may be in co-studios. I know you're a TV person and you have a TV show, so it's all about expanding, right? So we may be we'll cross each other in our makeup rooms and our limos dropping us off.
We are actually expanding our platform in January. January 10th is the official launch of USA Global TV, so we're going to be in other platforms. But it has been a true privilege and treat to have you here, and I'll reach back out to you to be on some of our other shows.
Thank you. We'd be honored.
Thank you so much. Right. We'll see you again. Bye. Wow, what a delight. What a powerhouse filled with so much positive energy and inspiration that I know you out there, whether you're watching now or listening or later, you're going to take away so much. So I really do appreciate Ramon. And please go to his website, smarthustle.com. And if you missed any of the show, just go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and you can watch it from the beginning. Okay, we're going to close out this show, and we'll be back in about an hour with our business show. And to close out, I'm going to play another music video because why not? Who doesn't like good music? It's by Sir Tony Moore over in the UK, and it's called Route 66. We'll see you again soon. Bye.